It is. It
Well,
is. But,
see, Abdullah, he came out in the early days with, Skull Murphy and all those guys, and tough men, like just wow. And the way they could look after each other, but still have the audience on the edge of their seat, man. Like just like turning up a radio, turning it down. You know.
The biggest thing I learned in wrestling is you've got to get the crowd eating out of the palm of your hand. Once you get them eating out of the palm of your hand, you've got to keep them there.
Yep.
Right? You can't drop them. That's it. You'll lose it. And I think some of the best guys that did it so well, better than I could ever do it, were guys like Paul Orndorff, guys like Ric Flair, all old school wrestlers who knew the business better than anyone would ever know. Because it is a business that you really need to understand and comprehend. There's a psychology behind it. It isn't about two people just throwing each other around. The simple things. I remember even before a match, the opposition would come in with a referee and, ask how everything's going. And he goes, look, it's going to be an 18-minute match or a 15-minute match or a half-hour match. You knew who the babyface heel were. Obviously, you knew where the storyline was going. And they'd say to me, Sam, is there any high spots you want to do? So obviously you liaise with your high spots that you want to do. And your opponents would say, yeah, look, I'm happy with that. I don't mind that. I don't mind, getting off the top rope, but you can't pole drive me, Sam. I don't want to be pole driven because of my neck, whatever it may be. So there's that care factor that we used to look after each other. But when it was on, it was on. And one of the biggest things I found in wrestling was, I remember my first few matches, I was so disorientated from being slammed on the ground, getting back up thinking, where the hell am I? Meanwhile, getting potatoed again. And so it was quite easy. It taught me a lot. That's why I take my hat off to these guys, these legendary wrestlers, old school wrestlers, because they kept the business close to their heart. They really knew how to chain wrestle. You don't see much chain wrestling going on these days anymore.
No. And you're right, Sammy. They, like I was the same as you, used to watch World Championship Wrestling at home on Sundays. And my dad used to go, why are you watching this stuff? Or it's all fake and nonsense. But I loved it, right? And the big thing for me was, I started wrestling well into my 40s, but I got to wrestle Mario Milano, who I used to watch on TV. Like, how cool was that? And because he was a babyface, I was a heel, we're the same height. We used to wrestle all the time, and just like big man. He looked amazing in his younger day. His body was incredible, but still at his age, in his 70s, he was wrestling, late 60s. He knew how to work. It was a dream to work with someone like that. It's such a dream, and sadly he's gone now. But that was just amazing. And Larry O'Day, got to work with him.
Johnny Gray.
Johnny Gray. Yeah, all those guys. And like you, Sammy, I was lucky enough I got to meet Big Boss Man, Malenko, and probably one of the best moments was Jimmy Superfly Snooker. We got to travel with him, and what a legend, man. What a legend that guy was. Like, wow.
I'll tell you how fortunate I was as a kid when I was watching wrestling at home. My godmother, obviously, who baptized me, she started going out seeing a gentleman. I had no idea where he was. And she said, my mum said, oh, we've got, your godmother coming over with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was called Tony Marino. Now, Tony Marino used to be the little referee, if you remember.
I talk to his son every day, mate. Tony lives near us in Craigieburn.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
And he used to go to the Wrestling at Festival Hall to watch her because he used to get us tickets to get in.
Oh my gosh, small world.
That's how it all started.
That's how it started with you. Isn't that amazing? Like I still talk to his son now, and he's going to get his dad on. We want to talk to Tony and interview him because, like, Tony was just a brilliant referee. Like, he just made the game so much easier if you had all good workers and you had Tony, man, what a match.
He was 3 foot nothing, but used to get in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah. And he was perfect because he made the wrestlers look bigger.
100%.
And like, Doug, I'm sorry, Doug, but you know what? when you got wrestlers talking wrestling, mate. Like
I was
you can dive in.
Yeah, I was about to ask if you guys forgot that I was here.
Oh, sorry. Who are you?
Yeah, who?
Doug, who?
All right. Anyway, Sam, what's your funniest memory of the Scooby-Doo movie and The Condemned?
Oh God, the funniest. When I say that, I call it the funniest, but it wasn't funny there and then from the lead up. We're on set, filming with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and there was a scene where I had my back turned to her, and I had to turn around and grunt and say something to her, and she'd reply back, and then end up kicking me in the head, and I'd flip over and fall and so on down this well. So I had a set of bob teeth. You know what bob teeth are?
No.
So the bob teeth are those false teeth you put on, and they're friggin' like spaced apart, black and all dirty. It looks like you got 3 or 4 teeth. So I had those, and I had those in my hand, and I purposely brought them on set because we're on set, all day, every day. Sometimes I like to break the monotony, but I really didn't pick my time right. Yeah. And I'm dealing with A-class actors at the time then, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. on set. So here I am, I got my back face to them, and they said, camera's rolling. They go, action. And as I turned around, I grunted and I went to talk, but I had these bob teeth in, and I sort of smiled. Everyone else laughed, but Sarah Michelle Gellar looked at me dead set in the eyes. If looks could kill, I would be dead right. I'd be talking to you, right? And I just slowly just took him out of my mouth, and I passed him over to a guy on the side there, and I go, oh, the guy, sorry. And the director goes, come on. He goes, come on, stop stuffing around, let's go, Anyway, Sarah's just stopped, and I apologized, right? At the end of the shoot, I said to her, look, I'm really sorry. She goes, don't ever do it again. She goes, when I'm focused, she goes, I don't like people playing around. She was really dead set, And really, it was like kicking the nuts to me. I thought, oh no, I never again.
Sammy, that would be worse. Like, you'd rather be in the ring, get knocked out, lose the fight, than have a woman do that to you. Or not a woman, but any actor. Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. But any actor putting you down and going, hey, you.
Well, she had every right. Look, she had every right to. I just wanted to break the monotony. Being on set for 3 months, yourself, day in, day out. You sort of look for that little avenue where you could have a little giggle, meanwhile still get your work done. It wasn't going to take all day, but Jesus, I tell you what, I thought, never again. I'm never going to do this again. So that was on Scooby-Doo. On The Condemned, we're down this gorge, and I think you were there too, Andy. Were you there? Were you on The Condemned? You were on The Condemned, Andy. Yeah, I don't know whether you were there or not, but Richard and myself were there, and obviously Stone Cold and Vinny. And the scene was they had an overhead camera running along a rail down the gorge, and we had to run down. And obviously playing the double of Stone Cold, I was running off because I was afraid of being shot by Vinnie Jones, who was played by Richard Norton at the time as a double. And I remember there was no audio, but there was a camera running along the top of us. So here we are, we start running, and I really got to be careful because the gorge was quite slippery. The rocks were quite slippery. So we're running, and I'm swearing I'm not even turning around, I'm just running off, but I'm swearing at Richard because we're both doubles in this movie, and I'm swearing at Richard. Richard's swearing at me, but off the top of our voices, just swearing and, who's going to fall first and calling me fat F and this, that, Anyway, it finished, the run finished. They go, cut. So we cut. And at that particular time, I've looked up, and we're at the bottom of the gorge. And when you look up, I think there was a year 7 or grade 6 class of kids up on an excursion.
Hey, Sammy, thank God you said it, because Richard owned up to that same thing 2 days ago in the interview.
Yeah, well, there you go. And we looked up and go, no.
You should have seen what happened in our interview with Richard and what I did at the end.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'd love to see
look,
it.
he said the same as you said. He's dishing it out to you, all the words you could possibly think of, and new ones he invented. And then when you stop, you both turn around and he said it was either family or kids up there, and they're like, "Oops."
No, there was kids. It was the school kids. I don't know whether they were year 6 or something, but it was the most embarrassing time of my life. And I thought, oh no. But you know, when you think back and you ask me about funny situations or serious situations, they're the type of memories you've just dropped out again, Andy.
Oh, there I am.
Yeah, you know, they're the type of memories that I want to have. They're the type of things that get you going and make you appreciate life in general.
Yep.
I mean,
you
really get to know each other as individuals. And I mean, I must admit, as boring as some of the time it can be, you spend 10 hours a day on set, and you could work for an hour, or you could work for half hour. Who knows? But at the same time, as I said to Freddie Prinze Jr. on the set of Scooby Doo one day, I said, "How do you guys do it? Spending so much time in your trailer, and then getting out for half an hour, an hour." And he says, "Sam, well, the best way to look at it is you get paid to wait around, and acting's a bonus."
Yeah.
And that's how I looked on and read books and did whatever, and So,
and you're right. It's long days, mate. Like when you're working there, and you said, like, sometimes you be in your trailer, or then if you're on set all day, like it takes a lot of energy, and you got to have a reasonable amount of fitness, like, just to be because it drains so much out of you when you're doing very little.
Yeah, and I think the fitness you're talking about is mental fitness. Being able to lock in, and if you're mentally weak, it can knock you about. It can really, really knock you about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot of great things on set.
Yeah, you do, eh? And that's where we met. That's where, for people's interest, that's where I met Sam, and I met Richard and Ray Fazio, and just out of being on that film, created, like, met friends, like really cool people, and that's all. That doesn't always happen either on a film. You will meet people, but not all the time do you meet people, especially 3 or 4 in one hit, where you're still friends years and years and years later, and sort of contributing to other people, like what we're doing with this, and you guys coming on and sharing and inspiring people. It's amazing. Who would have ever thought,
Yeah, but I love that you guys are doing this sort of stuff, because to me, what yourself, Andy, and Doug are doing is so important. I wish a lot more people would get out and expand their wings and try and create awareness and try and create hype and of some form of goodness in life. Because, I mean, as you know, Australia and the world, I should say the world, is going through some hard times at the moment with COVID, and we're nearly in it for the last years. And Australia's been the most lockdown state or country in the world, or should I say Victoria, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the only thing that gets me through on a daily basis is that will to not give up, is that will to never die, is that will to, I'm going to get through this at all costs, is that will to put negativity that far behind that it'll never ever see the front of me ever again, Giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys and putting it on a social media platform and getting to the rest of the world information is phenomenal. So I just, before we even go further, I just want to thank you guys for this opportunity too, in case I don't say it at the end,